Welcome back, everybody. My name is Jim, it's the Lake Effect Gardener, and it is 2021. A whole new year, a whole new fresh set of goals. Come and join me. I love that it's January right now. I love it for the fact that you guys have never really seen my garden in January. You've seen a couple of shots taken here and there from outside my window where it's nice and warm. You've seen a bit of a car drive if you've seen that video, but you've never truly seen the garden in January. So, January plot tour. Here we go, January plot tour. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Make sure that you guys have a comfortable pair of wellies on and get yourself a nice big blanket because we're going to head out into the tundra. Actually, it's not that cold today. We're going to head out to the garden where it's muddy, wet, and very, very snowy. So we're going to start from the back door onto the patio. You guys can see there where I've been walking that there's a decent amount of ice that's on the ground here. There's been a freeze-thaw cycle that's been going on, and anywhere that I've pretty much stepped has turned into ice, so it's melting slowly. But just to give you an idea, this is all water. When I tell you I got that I have a muddy backyard, yeah, that's how bad it is. Thank goodness for wellies, right? So let's head up the path. Just want to show you guys all the beds. So this is my herbaceous border, and everything's pretty much knocked down and cut away. I did manage to get a lot of that cleaned up before our first snowfall, which was, it's a horrible job, but I'm really glad I did it. Here's the herb bed. I'm really sad about one thing. The snow did take down my poor cherry tree. I wonder if it just bent over? I'm gonna leave it and see if it hops back this spring, but I hope so. Anyways, back into the garden we go. And everything is very well covered in snow. The paths are a little bit more thawed only because there's so much water back here that it tends to melt faster. But this was my first squash bed. You wouldn't be able to tell it though. This is where I had my chamomile and my sunflowers and one of my defunct squash beds. And then over here I had my green beans and my box spring trellis here. And thank goodness the heavy snows that we had did not do anything to my greenhouse. Now, I do have a heater in there that I will be turning on one of these days to heat it up and do a cleanup inside. And I'll take you on that journey with me. But you can see, I'm just going to quickly pan and show you. This is what my garden looks like for January, February, and sometimes part of March, believe it or not. Crazy. All right, over here was my summer squash bed, if you recall, with my poor defunct zucchini and summer squash. That didn't come to anything, but like I said, I've got plans. Over here I had the tomatoes and some of the peppers, and here's the raised bed that I created. And the stuff that I have in here is actually holding on quite a bit. There's some sage and parsley, and here's some of that, the rosemary's looking a little downtrodden, and some lavender. But you know, once the snow melts, I'm just going to really assess and see what's working and what's not. Here's my 12 by 12 bed, and yes, you're going to see that I you can see where I just kind of stopped. I stopped with the maintenance, stopped with everything. My bean canes are still up. There are beans still on it. But you know what? If I'm just going to leave them up and I'm going to kind of assess what they look like in the spring. Sometimes I can just take these beans off and I have a full crop of seed for next year. Believe it or not, sometimes it just stays preserved. So I'm going to give it the old cursory try. What I thought was interesting was here where I had my onions. Well, I apparently left some of the teeny tiny ones. I missed them. They're regrowing. Can you stand it? I'm going to leave them. See what happens. Look at this. This is just, I mean, that's right. Lake, period. Not lake effect, lake. My corn bed. Okay. And then over here is my tomato bed. And yes, I've left the canes up. Shame on me. But these canes are pretty sturdy. I will get them down. Hopefully they're not too rotted. And I will use them again because I use everything over and over. That'll be a project. And then the cucumber bed was over here. And I do have, let's see, where did I see it? Here, over here. Some of the Masuna is actually growing. So that really, you know, it puts things into perspective for me that I could very well, if I have everything well protected, I can grow some winter crops out here. I don't know how long they would last, but who knows? If I had properly covered this stuff up, if I actually lifted a finger between the months of October and now, perhaps I could be harvesting some of this stuff. So shame on me, but lesson learned. Here's my brassica bed. And I've got some wee cabbages popping up. Oh, they look so angry at me. I don't blame them. There's some broccoli here. And there is actually, look at that. Broccoli. There's a crown there. And a crown there. I wonder if it's any good. Oh, my Brussels sprouts. Look at them in all of their glory. Aren't they beautiful? Looks like they've smoked half of their lives and their growth has been stunted. And if you look all the way over here, I can probably just trounce through this. That, my friends, is what's left of the kale. Okay, and that's the lacinato kale, or very similar to the Nero di Toscana or the Cavolo Nero that some of my British friends grow. It's the same thing. I'm just going to let them do their thing. I'm going to let them do their thing. There's the polytunnel. Can you see it? Kudos to those who can. It's pretty well buried. But you can see, oh my gosh, you can see how devastated this whole thing is. Just completely mangled. But as I said, the cover on it is good. So I'll peel that off, take care of and salvage what I can in the way of the framing. It doesn't look like I can with much of it, but we'll see. And then put the new one up. I'm so excited to get it. I don't know when it's going to be, but we'll see. All right, moving right along. I don't want to take forever. Remember what I said in my last video, guys. I'm switching things up this year. Okay, this is probably not going to end up being my brassica bed anymore. I'm going to flip things around and see how it goes. Here's my precious little apple tree, the Honeycrisp apple tree. And I'm going to be doing a little bit more judicious pruning to it because that really seemed to be the ticket. And that's how I got whopping five new apples off of it for the first time ever. So I'm going to do that again. All right, coming around here, I've got some roses buried. I'm just going to come up the center lane here. Slish, slosh, slish, slosh. So I'm thinking maybe, I don't know. This is the 12 by 12 bed, and the cucumber bed's right next to it. I might make these the tomato beds this year, or maybe I'll do one tomato and one sweet corn. I don't know. It's like I'm going to sit down and really think about how to mix things up. Or maybe I'll put the tomatoes over here. I mean, these beds are really the sun-loving beds. So we'll see. But like I said, I'm going to be amending the soil. I'm going to be turning it over. I'm not going to be doing no dig this year. I got my soil testing kit in the mail today, which was really exciting. So we'll see how that goes. We'll take a look at what is going on with the NPK, if there are any of those letters involved in the soil. Oh, goodness. So yeah, I'm going to really flip things around. I'm also going to dedicate one of these beds. I'm not sure which one yet. That will be determined. But I'm going to dedicate one of these beds to potatoes, because I did the potatoes in the grow bag. And if you guys remember that, I think the only thing I really truly harvest were like the original seed potatoes and a hickory nut. So we're gonna put those taters in the ground and see if they come to anything. I'm just gonna be careful here that I don't slip and fall in my rump. It's slippery back here. And I think I might move the cucumbers back to where they were. And originally, they were all the way over there in this bed right here. And you know what? They did really, really well there. So I think I might move it back. I don't know. I also want to try to get some cattle panels and maybe do some archways in between. But I'm going to try my level best not to create any new infrastructure. I'm going to work with what I've got. See if I can do that. And if all goes well and I want to grow some more, when the time comes, I can always address a new bed or two, probably behind the brassica, which will be something else bed. I'm thinking pumpkins might go in there. Pumpkins, maybe sweet corn. Maybe I'll do a Three Sisters. I am in America after all. Okay, that is a very American thing to do, the Three Sisters bed. We'll see. Definitely a new tunnel. Stuff will be growing in there. Really looking forward to that. Okay. Can't feel my feet right now, so I'm going to head into the shed and I'm going to take care of one little project that has been staring at me for a couple of days. So let's go back into the shed. Okay, so this small little segment has to be right on the money because it's not something that I can redo over and over. So if I flub things up, then you'll get a good laugh. I'll get a good laugh. But for Christmas this year, my parents, my mom and dad, got me this little container here. And it's kind of a starter kit to grow paper whites. So I love spring bulbs. Actually, every year what I try to do, if it's possible, is I try to purchase some hyacinth bulbs and I force them indoors because the smell of the hyacinth blossom is second to none, and it kind of drives that whole thirst for spring. So the paper whites, when I got this, was very, very exciting. I was very, very happy to get it. And I don't grow a lot of bulbs, and that's another thing that I'd like to change about this year is next fall, next autumn, I would like to seriously kind of open my wallet and maybe do some proper bulb planting. And I'm thinking that might happen over in the like the herb/herb bed. So that's going to be coming. But anyways, this is a kit. And I made sure to take a look at it before I brought it back here so that I wouldn't have to do any running back and forth to the house. So the kit comes with a pot, a very large pellet, and then they're already, look at that, they're already starting to kind of pop up a bit. There are four? Yes, 4 bulbs. Okay, so I took a quick read of, there's some extra stuff in there, I'm just gonna tip it out. I took a quick read of this pellet thing, and this is actually the soil, and it's not actually, it's cocoa peat. Cocoa peat. Sounds like a tiki bar in Fort Lauderdale. Anyways, so a cocoa peat disc that has to be rehydrated. Okay, so it says, remove this plastic wrapper. Okay. Oh, it's like a hockey puck. Okay. Place disc in a 2-quart container. 2-quart container. Do I have a 2-quart container in here? I don't think I do. Do I have something under here? Am I going to disturb some mice that are under here? No, I don't. Oh, hold on a minute. This might work. Well, I don't know if this is 2 quarts or not, but it's definitely bigger than the pot, so we'll give this a try. Okay. All right, add 2 cups of warm water, which I brought from the house in my handy dandy yogurt container, because I don't throw anything away. Okay. Allow disc to absorb water approximately 15 minutes. 15 minutes! Okay, so I'm going to have to edit this. And expand into the growing medium for use in your planter. If necessary, add another 1/4 cup of warm water. Stir the mixture and drain the excess water if necessary. And then blah, blah, blah. Follow the planting guide. Okay, so I'm going to pour this in. And this is warm water. And it's floating. Okay. It's just kind of floating on top. Okay, well, so I obviously have to wait 15 minutes for this to start to absorb some of the water. So I'm going to, with the magic of technology, come back to you in 15 minutes or so. Okay, should I do one of those TikTok things where I snap and I come back? Maybe I will. Okay, here we go. Okay, well, I'm surprised. I'm very surprised, actually. So that little disc with that amount of water broke up, and really, yeah, it worked. Ha! Look at that. So obviously, cocoa peat is coconut coir and peat moss, and normally I wouldn't use peat in the garden because it's not really a reusable resource, but came with the kit, so and I'm sure this is more cocoa coir than there is peat moss in it. And frankly, I was fully prepared. If that disc hadn't opened up and bloomed into this medium, I was fully prepared to run over to my little potting sink and grab some soil. Nonetheless, it worked. Now it says, follow the planting and growing instructions on the package. Okay, so now we're going back to the packaging here. Oh, let's see. Fill the pot about 2/3 full with provided soil. Okay, this isn't soil, it's growing medium. Okay, so 2/3 full, and I have a towel because this stuff is messy. All right, so 2/3, roughly 2/3 full. Okay. That looks about right. I'm just going to give it a tap. That could probably use a little bit more. Okay. Let's see here. Place the bulbs into the soil, pointy ends up, packing them firmly. Okay, there's packing involved. I'm going to put a little bit more in here. I mean, I've grown daffodils before. I've grown spring bulbs before. I kind of know exactly what you're supposed to do, but just following the instructions as they're listed anyways. Okay. So I'm packing them in firmly. I'm putting them right next to each other. As such. So they're nice and cozy. Okay. Then place the remaining soil around the bulbs, including the shoulders where the tops narrow and the necks exposed. Water well and keep the soil moist at all times. Well, this stuff is pretty well moist. So I'm going to not water it until it looks like it absolutely needs it. But this stuff is pretty well wet. Obviously, I'll be taking these indoors. I will not be growing them outdoors. It is way too early for that. I'll put this on my kitchen table where it gets decent sun and decent heat. Okay, I'm just going to pile it right on the top. Now, I was always under the impression that daffodils bulbs should be going in the depth of the corm itself, the bulb itself, I should say. So whatever the size of the bulb, you plant that depth. But We'll follow the rules here, see what they have to say. All right. There we go. Paperwhites. What a wonderful gift. Thank you so much, Mom and Dad. I love this, and I'm certainly going to love watching these grow. That's going to be food for my soul during these dark months. And then, of course, the grand prize will be once they've bloomed and send that gorgeous scent around my house. So there we have it, friends. It feels so good to plant something. At the very beginning of January, it feels so good. Now, as we progress through January, I'm thinking about something I've never done before, and I'm going to stick to my words because I seem to always think I'm going to do something and then I never do it. But I always buy my chilies, I always buy my eggplants, I always buy my onions and leeks. I always buy them already grown from a garden center. I'm going to attempt to start my own early. I do have a location in my house, which you guys will be seeing, where it is nice and warm and I can put some grow lights. So if I can do that and start them off as soon as I possibly can, that way those are pretty much the things that I don't start from seed. I'm going to start those from seed and keep them in my house and see if they come to anything. If they don't, because they do need a very long growing season, if they don't, I will go out and purchase them. Otherwise, can't say that I didn't try, right? All right. Happy January. Happy beginning of January. Happy beginning of the growing year. Officially, I've officially planted something. I'm so thrilled about that. And there will be more to come. I hope you enjoyed my January plot tour. It was abbreviated. It was very white. It was very muddy. But exposure, you guys are seeing it for the first time in January. And I thought, why not? So that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are new to the channel, welcome. If you guys enjoy this content or you'd like to see other things, please put something in the comments box below. Press that notification bell so you can get notifications. I've just really turned myself on to doing that. So now I'm getting all these new videos that are popping up on my phone saying that I need to watch them. And I'm, believe me, more than obliged to do so. So that's it, guys. Hope you're well. I will see you all very, very soon. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.